What's up, First Down DBs? This is Coach Felipe back with another video. And for this week's video, we are going to be talking about a pointer and some tips we can use in off-man coverage in order to help us just use the proper progression and put ourselves in better situations to make plays, right? Specifically, this video, we're going to be talking about everything kind of in the quick game, but I will try to explain how this technique can help you, again, progress properly when in off-man coverage and go from there in order to put ourselves in the great situation to make a play. Right here, AJ Terrell shows us one of these techniques that we can use in a read step. But first off, talking about a read step is basically something a DB is going to use in order to get his first read down, right? So in a read step, we're moving backwards slowly, either reading the receiver, right? Because off man, it is man coverage, but you will have some coaches teach off man, but with zone eyes through the read step, right? Through the 3-step drop, essentially. So as a DB, I'm looking at this quarterback here. If I have zone eyes, just so you have kind of an idea as we're looking through these, I'm looking until I basically know if he just caught the ball, right, and set his feet and looked to throw. Right here, he catches the ball and he drops back. So my technique means I could just start gaining a little bit of ground, and I do that with my read step. If he were to catch and throw, obviously, I'm going to see that quick. I just got to break downhill. But if he's dropping back just a little bit after the catch, okay, I'm going to start read stepping. As you see here, Terrell uses the tempo back pedal technique, which is perfectly fine. You can either use a tempo pedal or a scooch technique is what we'd call it, right? And those come anytime we get any type of release, right? Right here, DK Metcalf, and I believe the next play, both receivers release vertically. So we're going to read step back, whether it's a tempo pedal or a scooch technique. AJ Terrell does a tempo pedal, ends up making a good play on the double move. Right here, we get somewhat of a scooch technique. This DB does a great job reacting quickly. He only scooches once. But again, going through his read steps, 5 to 7 off the receiver, which is typically the aiming point when we're in off-man coverage. Scooch, and then he breaks down. So a scooch technique is just a little different from a tempo or a walkout back pedal, as you saw with Terrell. We're pushing off one foot. Right here would be the DB's left foot, and just kind of pushing and replacing down with the right. Pushing again with the left, replacing down with the right. I think I have some videos that have a clearer description and example of this, but this how effective the read step can be, right? I believe he kind of goes between zone and man eyes because he gets a jump on this ball before even the receiver breaks down. But that's the power in this progression, right? And once this receiver's cleared about 3 to 5 yards, right? If we're talking about our receiving breaking points again, 5 yards, if he hasn't broke down at 5 yards, dropped his hips, done anything at 5 yards, it's probably not going to be a short route anymore. And at that point, I can start getting into my smooth pedal, start matching his tempo, right? But the reset's got to come first because they will give us opportunities to make plays like this on the quick game. Now, adding another element to an off-man rep here, we get Adoree Jackson covering a slant route, ends up making the PBU. But this clip's just a little bit different from the last two because we have a receiver who is stemming now, right? The last two, we get a receiver that's releasing straight vertically, so our read step's a little easier. I'm just working straight back, making sure I go through my proper progression and reads there. But if a receiver is to stem me inside or even outside, right, whether he's on this side of the field, releasing in or out, it don't matter, right? I still got to go through my read steps. But with this release, I now call this move or this technique, I add to the technique a leverage step technique, right? I'm inside leverage here. So my leverage step is going to keep me inside or out, right? If he was on the other side of the field, excuse me. This doesn't make sense to draw it up here. But just picturing him from both sides. The receiver's on that side, I'm inside. I got to protect my leverage. And I do that with my leverage step. You're going to see Adoree Jackson does it real quick, right? This is not a super hard inside stem, but we do get stemmed inside, and Adoree Jackson does a great job leverage stepping inside, just taking that one little step. You're just going to see he pushes off the left right here and puts himself in a position where he's still inside that route, and he's able to work downhill and cut it off, basically, is exactly what you want to do here. Ends up getting the PBU. Great job here. But again, going through my read steps, it allows me to play the quick game. Once he clears 5, my quick game is pretty much out of the picture. I'm going to the next progression. It's going to be intermediate routes sitting at 10 to 15, and then deeper routes after that, 15 plus. Right here, cornerback does a great job getting zone eyes kind of here, and then transitioning into watching the receiver here. And he gets a good break on this. I'm not sure how he saw this so early because he takes his eyes off the QB, so the pin pull is not present here in my eyes. I think in general, he does a great job just anticipating. I think he knows maybe what's coming. Maybe it's the down distance. Obviously, we can't see that. But again, another technique or another example of the walkout, a tempo pedal just for our read steps, tempoing out just little by little, still being able to change my momentum, come back downhill if I need to. And again, if he clears 5, I can start speeding up my pedal, and matching his release from there. Then this last play here, same type of look by Rasul Douglas in a zone type of look, actually. So in our zone, we could still use a read step type technique. You'll see it a lot in kind of cover 3 and some cover 2 at the corner position because I got to get a good read, especially in cover 2 if I'm going to get a quick out because I got to be able to sit on that, right? So again, tempoing. And then once I know he's cleared 5, you see he starts opening up. He gets in a crossover run, but does a great job matching the tempo of Garrett Wilson here. He's not, once he opens up and crosses over run, he's not yelling upfield, flying upfield super fast. He's tempoing it, matching the receiver's tempo, breaks down, ends up getting the pick here. Great play by Rasul Douglas. Oh, we have one more. Same situation here. I'm getting kind of, I'm in a cover 2 look. I'm a flat defender, so I'm going to tempo out, take my little read steps to be able to get a read on this and a read on number 2, even if he was lined up here, to see what he's going to do before I make a decision to continue to drop and stay on this guy. But everything is a progression. From here, if that ball's not thrown immediately, I can continue to drop and go find some more help, avoid and not worry about the quick game, right? So our read steps are super important in off-man because it allows us to play the quick game. It allows us to have the proper progression even after quick game, right? And just allows us to make more plays on the football. So I hope this helped you in some type of way. Y'all continue to support the page. Leave comments on what you want to see next. But as always, y'all stay blessed and keep grinding.